Ecbatana, capital of Media, 6th century BC. The king of the Medes sits at the head of his table. Across from him, Harpagus, his most trusted noble, a man who has served him for decades, eats. The king smiles as he watches. He has personally seen to the meal. He has saved the best part for last. Harpagus does not know yet what he is eating. To understand why a king would do this to the man closest to him, we have to go back years to a dream and a child he was ordered to kill. The king dreams that a vine grows from his daughter's womb and swallows all of Asia. His seers give him one interpretation: her son will take his throne. He marries her off to a Persian noble far beneath her, a weaker bloodline, a weaker threat, or so he believes. When she becomes pregnant, the dream returns, worse this time. The seers do not soften it. This grandson will be king in his place. The king will not wait to find out if they're right. He does not yet know the man he chooses to carry out his order is the one man in his court who cannot go through with it. The infant is placed in Harpagus's hands with a single instruction: make certain he does not survive the night. Harpagus carries the child home. He does not carry out the order himself. He can't. He hands the task to a herdsman, ordering him to expose the baby on the mountainside and confirm the death. But the herdsman's wife has just buried their own stillborn son. She looks at the living child in her husband's arms and makes a decision that will outlast every king in this story. They raise the boy as their own. They give Harpagus the corpse of their dead infant, dressed in royal cloth, as proof the deed is done. The boy grows up in a herdsman's hut, called by a shepherd's name, believing he is nobody. He does not yet know he is a king's grandson, or that the truth will surface before he turns 11. At 10 years old, the boy plays a game with the other village children. They elect him king, as boys do. He takes the game seriously, assigns roles, builds a mock guard, hands down judgments. One boy, the son of a nobleman, refuses to obey. The king has him seized and beaten, a punishment far harsher than any child's game should produce. The nobleman is furious. He takes the complaint to the king himself. A herdsman's son struck my son like he had the right to rule him. The king summons the boy to answer for it, and the moment he sees his face, he sees his daughter's face looking back at him. He does not yet know that this recognition will cost a man his son at his own table within the week. The king questions the herdsman. Under threat, the man breaks and tells the truth. The child living in his home is not his own. He was given a living grandson and returned a corpse. The king does not punish the boy. The seers now insist the prophecy was already fulfilled in that childhood game of king. The threat, they say, has passed. He sends the boy back to his birth parents in Persia, content to let him live out his life as an ordinary man. But Harpagus disobeyed a direct order. For that, there is no forgiveness. The king invites Harpagus's son to the palace under friendly pretense. He has the boy killed. He has the body prepared and served at a banquet, and invites Harpagus to sit at his right hand and eat. Harpagus does not know what is on his plate until the meal is finished. Then the king has the boy's head, hands, and feet brought out on a covered dish and asks him if he enjoyed the meat. Harpagus bows. He says the king's will is always agreeable to him. He gathers what remains of his son and leaves without another word. He does not yet know that he will wait decades for the chance to answer this, and that when it comes, it will cost the king everything. Years pass. The boy once left for dead is now a grown man in Persia, Cyrus, who knows how close he came to never existing, the truth of his birth having reached him years earlier when he was first sent back to his birth parents. Harpagus has spent the years since rebuilding alliances inside the Median court in silence, waiting. When he judges the moment right, he writes to Cyrus directly, a letter urging him to raise Persia against the king, with Harpagus's promise that Media will turn on its own king when the time comes. To get the message past the king's watchman, he hides it inside the belly of a hare, disguised as a hunter's gift. Cyrus reads it. He understands exactly what he is being asked to do: take up arms against his own grandfather, the king who once ordered him killed as an infant. He says yes. Cyrus does not simply announce a rebellion. He earns one. He gathers the Persian tribes for a single day of brutal labor, clearing scrubland, cutting thorns, working from sunrise until they are exhausted. The next day, he gives them a feast: wine, meat, music. Then he asks them plainly which day they preferred. They tell him the feast without hesitation. Then follow me, he says, and I will give you a lifetime of days like that one, instead of a lifetime like the one before it. Choose freedom from Median rule, or choose the life you've always known. Persia rises behind him. The king, still not understanding the danger, does the one thing that guarantees his own downfall. He puts Harpagus in command of the army marching out to crush the rebellion. The two armies meet. Harpagus has been waiting decades for this exact position of command. Mid-battle, he turns his forces, and a significant portion of the Median army goes over to Cyrus with him. The king leads what remains of his loyal troops into the field himself. It is not enough. He is captured alive, brought before the grandson he tried to have killed as a newborn, the grandson saved through the man he humiliated at his own table. Cyrus does not kill him. He keeps the king at his court for the rest of his life. The man who ordered his death shown a mercy he never once offered anyone else. Media becomes part of a growing Persian state. Within a generation, that state is the largest empire the world has yet seen. None of it happens without a single decision made in a herdsman's home, the night a man was told to carry out a killing, and instead saved a child. And none of it happens without a wound Harpagus carried in silence for decades, waiting for a battlefield to answer a banquet. Empires are not always built by kings. Sometimes they are built by the men a king wrongs, and the years those men are willing to wait.